Greetings, peace and blessings. Sissy Yatira here, the First Lady of Fart Money Network, with another conversation of self-improvement, later than usual, but part of self-care is caring for other selves. And Sister Felicia, welcome, sis. You already know. Oh, Assalamu alaikum, King. Little man here, he's up. He's up, and he was just up right with me and wasn't having it any other way. So we made the adjustments. He's here and he's relaxing, and here we are. So self-care. Now self-care is something that is obviously very important. Wa alaikum salam, sir. It's very important, and it's something that is growing in meaning for me, right? So I was never like a really big, understanding what self-care means outside of the physical, taking care of my hair, my nails, and just keeping up with self outwardly, but not inwardly. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Lisha. Welcome. And so, wa alaikum salam, sis. So as I was going to bed last night, I was exhausted. I had a long day. I've had a long few weeks, and me and my husband, we have very full schedules, so he is not just a good morning, sis. He belongs here. He want to talk to, right, Sister Felicia? That's right. So, hey, he's here. So my husband has a really full schedule. He's not only is he a full-time entrepreneur, some of you all know him as that already, but he's also a full-time soldier in the Nation of Islam. So he has a lot of responsibilities in the work that he does with our people. He's out in the community a lot. So our schedules don't really get to come together. So sometimes, even in the evening, sometimes we'll watch certain things together and talk about it. But the reason why self-care came up is because last night, when I tell you I was exhausted, it was around 8:30, and I was like, oh yeah, it's time for me to go to bed. And I normally don't go to bed until whatever time it is. It's always after 11, and 11 is still early. I'm really in bed. It's always pretty much after 12, and I can give you a window. It's like from between 12 and 3. But lately, since having self-improvement, I have been getting in bed, around 11, 12 is pretty much has been kind of like the latest, or in the 12 o'clock hour. So I have been getting a lot better, and it has been making a difference. But like I said, yesterday was just one of those days where, I just needed to go to sleep. And I brought up my husband because sometimes I can be sleepy, but sometimes, I try to, we try to make that time for each other. And sometimes it is that sacrifice of sleep to, hang out. And like I said, because we're trying to study together, that's a big thing for us, because this is where, our most enlightening conversation is, listening, whether we're studying the Word of God together, or whether we're studying some things that relates to our business. We try to do these things together to help us to keep in sync, and grow with one another, and hear things from different perspectives and all these different things. So that is what inspired this self-care talk, because I was like, tonight I have to go to sleep. Sleep is calling me, and the way that I'm feeling, I'm not going to be able to fight it. So I said, well, part of self-improvement is the actual improving upon self, the caring of self, and the being willing to put self first, right? And so, like I said, as I wasn't always in the habit of doing these things, I was not always in the habit of doing things for myself over the need of somebody else, or over the desire for somebody else. What I mean by that is somebody could, hey, Sissy T, are you able to do this? And even if it was going to, hurt me to do it, in terms of, I really need to be doing something else, or I really need to be focused somewhere else, or whatever, I would just drop what I'm doing to serve somebody else. And again, we talked about it. It's nice to desire to help and serve people, but the priorities have to be in line. And so acknowledging that in myself as I am improving on myself, peace and blessings. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As I am improving upon myself, that is an area where I say, okay, enough is enough. I have to, thank you, Sister Felicia. I have to take that time for myself. I have to make that switch. And sometimes it's hard because we know people are not mind readers. And sometimes it's hard to make decisions for ourselves. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Jason. Because we get so concerned about how the other person is going to receive it, right? But this is what I'm noticing. If you're dealing with a person who is on the same level of a like mind or is more versed in that area, they don't have a problem with it. So what I'm saying, let me paint that picture in another way. If I am somebody who is growing into the awareness of self-care, and I understand that I need to take care of myself, when I'm speaking to another person who understands it, like Sister Felicia just did, when I said what I said, she was like, right, good for you. Because she's already on that level. She understands the need to be able to take care of yourself and make decisions for yourself first and foremost. If you are having that same conversation with somebody who has not yet reached that level of awareness that the first law of nature is self-preservation, they don't see the value or the importance of self-care, well, then they may make that a personal thing, a personal shot. Oh, you don't got time for me? Oh, well, I did this for you one time, but even in those situations, I'm learning how to handle that better because self-improvement, along with self-awareness, I'm learning that people react based on who they are and where they are. Not who you are, who I am, and where I am, and where you are, And so, no, sir. And so that is really helping me tremendously because, these are conversations where we have conversations with people. And when you understand that, or as you apply that, so when somebody says to me, it's not saying a certain thing. It's just about the attitude in which something is said, or the aggression maybe when somebody says something. That's not a reflection of me. And I used to take it personally. You see, so I used to take when somebody was putting off on me how they were perceiving something and they were addressing me or talking to me in a way that I didn't like, I was taking it personal. Because number one, I don't talk to people like that in the way that they may be talking to me in that moment. So I was taking, hey, I wouldn't do that. Why are you doing that to me? You see, it's so interesting how we work as humans, And so just moving forward, having that understanding and being willing to pause my emotions and say, oh, wait a minute. That's not a reflection of me. They're operating from where they are. And that's okay. And so that, it's just these little things that just help us to handle people better, to learn and understand people better. But I'm striving to always choose. Because sometimes, I'm not perfect yet. But that is the goal. So just because I say I'm not perfect, one of these days I'm going to be. Okay, y'all, just wait and see, You can too. Don't wait and see. Join the, stay on your self-improvement journey yourself. But that is the goal, is perfection. And I 100% believe that we can attain perfection because we have examples of people who have, right? So if Jesus is a perfect example and he is giving us the blueprint and he's telling us, this is what you do with your neighbors. This is what you do with your family. This is what you do with yourself. This is how you position God in your life. Like, he has given us the blueprint. We fall short when we disconnect ourselves and separate ourselves from that path, from that blueprint, because he says, follow me. So if his journey, if his footprints in the sand lead us to perfection with God, then why would we step off of that path, walk beside it or crooked, or turn another way and say, only Jesus can be perfect? Well, yeah, if you're going to get off the path, if you're going to get off the track that he has laid down for us to follow. But if you do follow it, then where is your eventual lining up with? Where is your eventual destination if you just follow the footprints in the sand? So it is with that mindset that I say, one day I will be perfect. And that's God's intention. Nowhere, I have never read that it says anywhere that God, thee must be imperfect for all of thee life. All of thou life. Imperfection is what you will adhere to, So we're made, the Holy Quran says that we are perfect and imperfect, or complete and incomplete, right? So a baby that's born into the world is complete. He or she is a full human being for the most part, right? And has everything that they need. From there, though, they grow. There's evolution. The baby learns to, crawl, stand, walk, run, talk, eat on its own, go to the bathroom by itself, change clothes. Now you're evolving. So where's the ceiling? Reaching that destination, that point with God. So this world doesn't talk about it like that. This world doesn't highlight our ability to reach perfection. No, but in that process, this world is also throwing in a whole bunch of distractions and things that keep us away from even the idea of really God. This world doesn't uplift God. The name God is lifted, but not the principles and the moral conduct and the way of God. The reality of God. These things are not lifted in this world. So, I understand why, we don't reach for perfection, because this world doesn't offer us that. So it is only when we come into higher knowledge, and surround ourselves with people who bring different knowledge or can point us in a direction where we can go and find more information, more knowledge, more truth on these subjects and on these things that we're talking about. So, self-care is, is just beautiful. The more that we do it, the better that we feel about ourselves, the more clear our thinking is. The cups that runneth over. We can't pour from an empty cup. I can't be my best self if I'm bouncing around here trying to serve the needs of everyone else by negating my own needs, right? So if I'm like, all right, well, I'll stay up until 4 a.m, but I got to get up at 7, and Waleed's going to be up the whole night, and I'm going to have to tend to him, and then my 2-year-old is going to get up, and then my 6-year-old is going to get up, and then I'm just running around for everybody and not taking the time to do the things that I need to do for me. I'm going to be a poor example of myself. I'm so glad I got out of my way, pleasing everyone but my peace. To be honest, you have fed me how just letting people know you for whom you are. I have so much respect for you. Your talk is so sweet. Thank you so much, Sister Felicia. Thank you so much. Praise be to God. Praise be to God. I enjoy having these conversations. I enjoy sharing things because I believe that. I believe that if we share stories, if we share testimonies with each other, it strengthens us. And then, we help. And I know Sister Felicia said, I think that was you said, or no, I think I was talking to another sister yesterday. She was saying how, each one reach one. And what you're saying, that's just beautiful, because your testimony, it comes back and it helps me, and then we continue to do that. We continue to speak to one another, and we continue to encourage one another. And, when you said that, the thought that came to my mind is when there's older women that I speak to and that help me in different areas of my life. And no problem. And they, they'll tell me certain things, or they have given us certain guidance. Like, you should do this with God. You should do this. You should, do these different things. But there's no further understanding that goes along with it. And, I guess for me, I've always, well, not always, but after I have reached a certain level of understanding, once I have gotten a certain degree of understanding about what they were talking about, like when I was single, you should take this time to do X, Y, and Z. It's like I'm hearing what you're saying, but the value of what you're saying, I'm missing, because sometimes the examples are not there. But now, being married, full-time wife, full-time mother, full-time entrepreneur, it's like, oh, maybe if I was single, if I had gotten these things mastered, then the struggle that comes with being a wife and a mother of multiple children, that journey, or that part of my journey, would have brought its own challenges. But the challenges that come with, me having a discipline already in place, a will to already do certain things, would already have been there. So sometimes, like I said, it just takes those conversations. But that's why I'm not sitting around saying, oh, I wish somebody would talk about this and somebody would talk about that. I'm doing it because I see the value in it. I see the importance of it. And I just want y'all to understand me at this moment, because it's not about me seeing me being the talker. It's about, I am where I am because somebody else did that for me. And, I've shared this before. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he gives us so many different examples from his life. And so I literally find myself saying, okay, how would he handle this kind of a situation? How would he view this? And, what would be his next action? How does he rise above emotions? Well, he has emotions. I remember when he talked about fear. 2 fear stories that come up in my mind, and why it's so important when we talk about, it's okay to feel your emotion, but go through it. So the 2 stories that come to my mind is when he was, I'm not sure the location. I'm not sure if he was in Arizona or where, but he was out for a walk. And as he was out walking, there was a bull by a tree in the direction that he was walking. He saw the bull. The bull saw him, as in the animal with the horns. Yeah. And, he said that he stopped first. But he felt that, that fear, like, okay, because the bull started doing the charge motion, like it was getting ready to charge. It was doing its foot, and it was doing that. And I think that in his study, or, there was that idea of fear was on his mind before coming out, about how, we don't fear anything, but God. And so we have to challenge that fear. So, he continued to walk, and I'm not sure exactly what he said in his mind, but right, Brother Jason, in so many ways, what would Jesus do? Exactly that. And, so his mind is on the remembrance of Allah, though. And he said, as he kept walking, the fear jumped out of him, and apparently it jumped into the bull, because the bull took off in another direction, right? That's one story. And then there's another story of him, of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, being at I'm not sure if it was a college, or I don't think it was a college, because there was like police officers inside of the audience, but his audience was, I believe, mainly a white audience that he was speaking to. And at the end, he got a question. This officer, I believe, because he had a gun in his holster, he stood up. He said that the man that asked him the question stood up, and he threw his coat back as to show the gun that was there on his hip. And he asked the question, well, I hear that, you teach that the white man is the devil, this, that, and third. And so the minister said that his heart was like this, you know. And so you can picture that, like, I know that the truth is that's in my mouth is truth. I understand that people don't have a full understanding, and you know, but that doesn't mean that when the conflict comes, that the ability or that when the conflict comes, that I'm going to be able to handle it with ease or without even, you know, feeling something. So when he talked about his heart jumping out of his chest like that, I was like, wow, you know, as eloquent as a teacher that you are, your understanding of this word. When he said that, it's like shows the human in him, right? Because he's definitely divine, but it showed the me too factor. I get scared like that too, right? But then he showed me the overcoming of it. So he said, you know, his heart was like that, but he said, well, yeah, this is what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, and here's why. And then he goes in and he's listing the history, the facts, things that you can't argue. And he said that the man was like, okay, that's enough. And he sat down, you know. So it's just those kind of stories, though, because that's my point. The stories that he shares and shows that, yes, we're going to go through things, but this is how you go through it. You know, you have faith in yourself. You have faith in God. You stand on what you know. You stand on what you believe, and you move in a way. And that's the thing. He also operates from a place of love. He operates from a place of love, and it takes love. And this is why I admire him so much. It takes love to stand and do the things that people will criticize and judge you on because they don't understand. And it's that walk that we all have to take. We all have to walk our own walk. And sometimes we're going to see things. God is going to reveal things to us. He's going to grant us with different levels of understanding. And we are going to have to make the decision that we're going to move out on the instructions and the call that he has called us to, the walk that he has called us to, even if it's somebody doesn't agree with it. And I guess I'll close with this because it's about self-care. When I came into the truth about God, when I came into this understanding, when I was willing and ready to change my life, you know, I got a lot of pushback from my mother. And of course, you know, our moms, we love our moms. And that was the hardest trial for me because I didn't understand why she would treat me the way that I, you know, felt like I was being treated. And the comparison for me is that before accepting Islam, I wasn't living a remarkable life. I wasn't living a holy and righteous life or even striving for that. So to make this decision and becoming a better person, I don't understand why it was so hard, but people understand on different levels. That allows us our strength and faith. That's right. Oh my goodness. Our strength and our faith grow so much when we go through these different things. And you're absolutely right, Sister Felicia. So that's it. It's about self-care. Doing what's right for you, doing what's best for you, and moving in love. Love for yourself, love for God, and love for the people. That's it. Almost my whole family, ditto. Oh, really, Brother Jason? Really? Wow. And it happens. But eventually, as you know, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad says, this world it's on its way out. And so when we accept the reality, when we look at what's happening, America's going into this war. You know, we see what's happening. And so at the end of the day, those same people that rejected what I was saying in the beginning, they call me now. What should we be doing? What's happening? What's going on? What's this? And I'm able to give them answers because I got the final calls here. We got the message. We're listening to God's man. So it's only a matter of time before every knee shall bow. Right? And that just means to the truth, to the truth. We all have different realities. We understand that, but it's about when truth comes, do you reject it? Do you accept it? are you willing to learn? Are you willing to go to God and ask him for understanding? And that was something that I had to do. But it's about self-care. So I love you all. Thank you for joining me this morning. I do again apologize for being late, but it's better late than never. And Wally he hasn't gone to sleep, so he's ready to get out of his little rocker. So thank you for being here. This is Sissy Yatira, the First Lady of Heart Money Network, signing off. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow, inshallah, at 7 a.m. God willing. Okay? Peace.